Hi everyone, today we have these three different animations. They are made with different software, but they use the same technique to make the loop seamless. So you can see the first frame and you can see the last frame. I'm gonna teach you how to do it. First, I will explain what is a fractal noise. Fractal noise is a generated texture. It's created by the software. It's not a pre-made image. And you can control the size, the details and the movement. With that you can simulate clouds, fires and terrains. Fractal noise can be generated in 2D, 3D and 4D. Yes, 4D. Fractal noise has a lot of parameters to animate, but we are going to use only Z and W axis to animate. But I'm going to show with X and Y too, so you can understand the concept behind it. Just to let you know, I'm not going deep into the math of it, just the basics so you can understand and how to do it. Okay, let's start by animating the X and Y axis. As you can see, the animation doesn't loop. The end is not equal as the beginning. To fix this, we can make our animation go from the minimum to the max and to the minimum again, so we can have our loop. But we can make it even better. Let's make a circle. A circular loop transition is better than a loop that goes just up and down. To create our circle, just add a sine and a cosine to our X and Y axis. Now you can see that we have our noise animation doing a circle movement. But instead of using X and Y, we are going to use now the W and Z like I promised. And by doing that, we created a seamless animation. And now we're going to show you how to make with After Effects, Touchdesigner and Blender. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is to make a new solid for your composition. And apply the effect fractal noise you can find in the noise section. Now make sure that you are in the first frame of your timeline and press the stopwatch icon. Double click in the evolution, make sure you're in the first frame, go to the last frame and press to add a new keyframe. Change to 1 to make one cycle and go to the end again. Put the keyframe after so you can make sure that the end frame is not totally equal to the beginning. Now go to the evolution options and press cycle evolution. Now you have your noise animation. It's very easy for After Effects. I have an important note about the After Effects and the last frame I told you to make. If you're doing an animation with just a few frames, like 60 frames, you're going to notice the jump in the animation, because if the first frame and the last frame are equal, you're going to see that they are going to repeat. But if the last frame is previous to the first frame, you're going to see the simplest loop. You won't be able to see this kind of problem if your animation has a lot of frames. Usually you don't see that, but with short animations you're going to see that. Okay, let's make now with Touchdesigner. In Touchdesigner you have to add a new noise, connect to the output to see your noise, change to a simplex 4D or Berlin 4D, you're going to need the 4D dimension. Go to the transform and this is going to be your Z axis and this is going to be your W axis. Now add a timeline chop and enable end. Add a math chop and divide these two, the current frame and the end frame, and you can see that your timeline is going to be from 0 to 1. Add another chop pattern and change the length to 1. Duplicate this pattern and make a cosine. Now connect our math to the face of our patterns. Now add another math and put together these two patterns. This is going to be our speed. And let's change the pattern's name just to make sure that it's easy to link. The first one is going to be Z and the other is going to be W. Multiply the result by 0.1. This is going to show the different speed of our animation. Now reference the Z and W in the noise animation and you can see that we have our loop animation. Okay, in Blender it's a little bit harder, but we are gonna do it. The first thing is to delete the main cube. Go in the edit mode and delete the cube, but maintain the mesh. So we are going to add a new geometry node to it. Go to the geometry node tab. And we are going to ignore the geometry input. We're going to add a new mesh to it. Okay, fix the size to whatever you want in your animation. And add a set position to it. Add a noise texture, connect, and you can see that we have our displacement, but it's kind of bad because it's going just in one direction, so we have to add a new math to it and multiply it by the normals. Now we have our good displacement. So add a new timeline frame and we are going to use the frame. Make sure we have the frames into 1 and in the end into whatever number you want. Add a new node math. Add a new node value. We are going to put the end frame. In this case I changed my mind to 240. And divide, just like we did in our Touchdesigner part. Now I'm just doing the frame just to make everything organized and in place with the correct names. This is turning our timeline from 0 to 1. Now add another node multiply, another node value, convert our timeline from 0 to 1 into radians. Why? Because sine and cosine in Blender just accept radians values, not 0 to 1 like in Touchdesigner. Radians. Now let's add our node sin and another node cosine and connect our multiply to it. Okay, now add another multiply. Do you remember we made that speed math in Touchdesigner? We're going to make something similar here. We're going to add this speed to these nodes multiply so we can control the speed of the movement of our loop. Let's add another math now. Another vector math now, sorry. And we are going to add our result to the position. This is going to make sure that everything is working. But we have a problem with our Z axis, because if you see in the noise, they are not separated. So we are going to separate with combine X, Y, and Z and then connect to the vector. I forgot to put 4D. Okay, so now we should have our animation. You can see that's very slow, but it's good. Now we can intensify this effect. So since it's 3D, we want to add another node to intensify this effect. You can add another math, vector math, and use multiply it. So you can see that the amount of intensity is going to change the amount of distortion. And we have now our loop animation in Blender. We can also change it to another mesh and it's going to deform in the same way. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, give a like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you have any questions. Bye!